I love that the players can handle this. That shows real maturity and belief in the players that we come to this ground. We want to be ourselves, and that's not easy. That's easy to say, but very difficult actually to do it against a team like that.
There's still a lot to play, ahead of us, and we just need to go step by step. We need to show our best performance every single time as soon as we're on the pitch. It doesn't matter which competition it is, and then in the end we're gonna see.
If you have the opportunity like we had, and obviously they had their moments as well because they are a very good team, then you try to punish them.
I saw now a penalty situation that's obviously rather a VAR situation than a ref situation, because I'm not sure the ref can see it, but if you look at that, I don't know how you cannot come to the conclusion it's a penalty. I don't know who sat in that room. So that's just a good football game, and we were at least level with Arsenal, which is this year definitely good news.
Well, honours even between the top two, but both defences held firm. But it was a fullback who could perhaps be described as more like a quarterback that caught you.
Oh, he's absolutely special. Trent Alexander-Arnold was just exceptional today, especially with his passing. But it's not just his passing, it's the space he creates for himself to make these passes. We see him in his position, in a right-back position, but he just knows when to pass it. The weight of the pass is just brilliant as well to set up an attack. I don't know a defender who can set up attacks like this. One of the best I've seen in the Premier League
players.
era. Just look at the way he caresses the ball, the timing, everything is just brilliant. And look at this, he's saying to Van Dijk and I, move out the way. This is the quarterback you're talking about, Gary. Just the fade to drop it down for Salah's goal. Salah's going to do rest. Zinchenko should probably show him the other side, and it's a great goal. But 67 Premier League, or 57 Premier League assists. I'm getting excited, but look at that for a little, look at that for a little swazzing pass. It's beautiful. Unbelievable. I mean, watching him and how modern-day football fullbacks have evolved, it's just brilliant to see. It really is. And the link-up with him and Salah today was brilliant. But this is what I like. At the end, he could have won it. I didn't know he was this quick, to be honest. We see he's got good technique, good passing and all that. But he can move as well. Ball comes to him, and I'm going to let him off because it just bobbles. It just bobbles. If you just see there, a little bobble. He gets a nice technique across it, but it wasn't meant to be for him. I've got a few.
The Odegaard handball was a tad bewildering, this decision, I must say.
I think Arsenal got very fortunate here. I mean, I really think that's handball. I mean, when you consider some of the handball decisions we've seen, I know he slips, but his arms out wide. I mean, he hits it twice, doesn't it? He actually sort of lands on the ball as well, doesn't he?
Is he not falling now?
Well, he didn't fall, did he?
He didn't fall. He didn't put his hand on the ground.
Didn't put his hand on the ground.
But he did put his hand on the ball.
Yeah, very fortunate, I think, to get away with that.
Extremely.
Mikel, for the neutrals, this was a perfect game. I think everyone enjoyed it. How did you enjoy it?
I think for the managers as well. I spoke to Jurgen, and it was an unbelievable game of football. It's one of the most intense, hectic games that I've witnessed in 20 years in this league. And big compliments to both teams, to our team especially, because it was a big experience today when they raised the level so high that we could maintain it. And at the end, the boys were disappointed that we didn't score one and win the game.
Does it show why these two sides are at top of the league at the moment?
Now we are trying to win games, and we really go for it, and we have an incredible spirit, and today we showed a lot of courage and determination to play the way we've done in this ground.
You were brave in your approach today, especially in the first half. Not many teams can come to Anfield and try to play the way that you did.
But we want to do this as a team, and if we want to adapt to teams, I think we're going to lose our biggest strength, and is our willingness to attack and to defend forward and to cause problems to the opponent, and I'm delighted the way the team played.
Just to finish with top at Christmas, they always say it's a good omen. What do you think?
It is good. So far, we are top of the league. We've done really well in the Champions League as well. Have a lovely dinner tomorrow with my family, and go back because West Ham is going to be tough.
Much appreciated. Thank you. Jurgen, it's a draw at the end, but how pleased were you with the way that your team performed tonight?
Very. Obviously, Arsenal, top side. I knew it before, now you feel it more. They made a re-step from last year, so that's clear. Really good. And they had a better start in the game. So thank you Anfield, by the way. But that, wow, that was really special. But anyway, that can happen, and they go 1-0 up after set piece. But then we found the game, so we reacted really well. We were super intense. Wow, to an extent where we have to calm it down, because we cannot go like this for 95 minutes, no chance. And in that moment, when we mixed it up and we played calm, all of a sudden we found real space. And I really love that, how we played then. And then the second half started. So we scored a wonderful goal, an incredible pass, one of the best I saw in my life. Sensational goal from Mo. Had very good moments in the first half already, but second half started, and now we should have scored, definitely. Won plenty of balls high up the pitch, had them really there, where I don't think they expected us to be that close in these moments to really win these balls. We had really, that we could see that the high press influenced them, but we didn't. And then we lost a bit control of the game, and all of a sudden they were there again. That's how it is. They are just too good. And in the end it's a 1-1. That's it.
Does it give us an explanation why these two teams are at the top of the league, the way that both of you performed tonight, as Liverpool and Arsenal?
Oh, Aston Villa is a top side. I don't know why people always talk about then whether well last year. Who cares about that? And since Unai is there, they are a top side. So Man City is a top side. So if you want to be in that area in the Premier League, you have to be really good. Tottenham won today, so they are there. So the important message is probably, with all the things people were talking about us and stuff like this, we are there as well, and we belong there. So that's good. But of course today is harsh, costly. With at least collarbone broke, that he's out for a long time. Robbo's still out, stuff like this. Other players who are not coming back early enough, so we have to dig deep to get through this. But for tonight, it was really good.
Did you get an explanation for the Odegaard handball and why it wasn't even looked at?
From who?
In the first half, because it was in the penalty area when he got the ball with his hand before he scored, that was.
No, from who should I get an explanation?
From the referee.
No, they don't come proactive and tell me why things happen. I only saw it after the game, so it's probably. I think we all agree that's a clear handball. But somebody will find tomorrow. Mr. Dermot probably will explain it and will tell us why it's not a handball. But yeah.
Just to finish with, you mentioned the pass from Trent. We are now expecting these passes from him, but it's brilliant, the passes that he keeps on playing, isn't it?
Well, it was not the only one. He played an absolutely exceptional game. The problem is that he's a human being as well. And in the end of second half, he was obviously he felt the intensity of the first 80 minutes. But anyhow, what a boy, what a player, and what a game! And I mean, it was really exceptional. Other passes as well. When he was again for more that one thing, then the switches, and then how calm he is to find the half spaces. Yeah, it was a good game.
Much appreciated. Thank you.
4 post-match interviews from Anfield, and all 4 saying virtually the same thing. A tough game. What do you say?
I'll make it 5 then. It was a really good game. Really enjoyed it. There were chances, there was controversies, there were goals, a lot of yellow cards for a game that didn't really have too many bad tackles. But it was a great advert for the Premier League. 2 teams that are obviously going to be fighting there at the end of the season. Liverpool may have just edged it on points, but I thought overall it was a pretty fair result. When you look at all the stats, they pretty much mirror each other. So it was a really good game, one that I enjoyed.
I think as well, why you hear them saying about how intense, and Mikel's saying it's one of the best games 20 years, and how intense it was, is because of what they expect from each other, and they knew that any mistakes was going to be punished, and that's what I thought happened with the 2 goals. It was 2 mistakes by players. And in the end, they got punished for those things. But in the end, it was more a game of, not enough going on in the both boxes for me, but it was the jeopardy of what could have happened, why everybody thought it was so intense.
Let's stick with you. What were the mistakes by Liverpool for the opening goal?
Well, I think for Liverpool with the opening goal, like I say, Arsenal firstly, the closing down is what I was expecting from them. And with a Liverpool side, you wanted to make sure that you close them down so you can win the ball back in these areas, and then bam, you get this kind of situation, this scenario, and then you've got the quality of someone like Martin Odegaard, we can put it in there on a sixpence for you. We can see how tight it is. Liverpool trying at first to try and keep them offside. But then once they fall back in, you know, everybody is onside. And then you can see the fact that they're onside here. You can see from behind here. But I think that you look at someone like Konate and he cannot get himself back inside Jesus and Gabriel Magalhaes, sorry. And so once this is happening, if the ball's good enough, he's got a free header. And that's the mistake that Liverpool made in that situation. You see him, he didn't know if he should go in, if he should come out. In the end, he leaves them with a free header and he punishes them.
He's done well to score there.
He has. It's a lovely header of the ball. I'm just trying to look at it from a defensive point of view, how they can stop that. They can either really drop deep, sort of on this 6-yard box, and all come out to try to head the ball. They can actually play offside.
If they're brave enough.
If they're brave enough, but you wouldn't want to do that every time because, you know, eventually you get caught. Or, you know, you have the situation where it's a little bit tricky. I mean, I remember when the rule came in, you could stand offside and all the rest of it. I used to watch Ruud van Nistelrooy do it all the time. He used to stand offside all the time. And as soon as the ball was kicked, he would go this side all of a sudden for a split second. So he's onside for literally a split second, offside all the other time. And he was brilliant at, you know, bending that rule, let's say. Yeah, absolutely. Amazing. And that's what Arsenal have done there. Really clever from them.
The equalising goal was a milestone one for Mo Salah. Let's talk about the finish.
Well, the finish was like, you know, we know what he can do, but you cannot give Trent Alexander that time, even though he's picking the ball up as the deepest man. Once you get into this situation, you have to keep him on the right foot. You cannot let him come back in because he's been doing that since he... You know, look at the space. Gabriel Jesus goes, but it's too late. Look, he's within a yard. If he does that and cuts the ball off to their most prolific attacking creative player, you're probably going to stop that pass. And the same with Zinchenko. You've got to encourage him to go on the right. You can see there's no one's going to be able to get into the box if you showed him onto the right foot in time. He doesn't do it. And at this level, with this calibre of player, you are going to be punished from Trent and from Mo.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great goal from Liverpool's point of view. Probably avoidable from Arsenal's point of view. I mean, I guess you'd probably want Jesus just pushing him towards Konate.
Exactly,
give the ball to Konate.
Exactly. So what
anybody but Trent.
Honest, Michael, this is what George Graham, he'd say, right, if Trent drops in there, make sure you stop him from getting it. Let him pass it to anyone else, because the rest of them can't do that. And that's where you get punished, because he can do that.
Let's look at why it's a milestone goal for Mo Salah. We've got a graphic for you there that confirms he is now 10th on the all-time Premier League top scorers list, passing the man standing alongside me. 151 goals now, just one more than Michael Owen's 150.
Yeah, but Michael done it all when he was like 17.
He's taken all my records.
And just before Christmas too.
Yeah.
Should Liverpool have had a penalty? That's one of the big questions we're going to be asking all week long, probably.
Yeah, I think they should have. Of course, the referee is probably in a difficult situation there in terms of his vision. He's looking across, maybe through bodies. Of course, he's got the backup of VAR. I think that the ball, or the hand, definitely comes towards the ball. It stops the ball from going past Ødegaard. Mo Salah is running around him. I think on balance, I think that's a penalty, yeah.
I think you can see there's a slip there, but it's unfortunate. I would want that. If that was for against Arsenal, I would have wanted that. I'm sure Liverpool would have wanted that, especially what it means at this stage of the season to get those 3 points. But for me, that's a penalty. They should have given that as a penalty.
Our two former strikers in the studio calling for a penalty. Surprise, surprise. Let's hear the expert's opinion then. Dermot Gallagher, former Premier League referee, is joining us now here on Matchday Live Extra. Dermot, do you agree with the two gentlemen in studio, or do you think that was the correct call?
I do agree with him in the end, Jules. Yeah, I think when I first see it, I thought he was slipping, very much like the referee, and I can understand the referee on the pitch not giving it. I think he's slipping. The VAR felt that with the subjective nature of handball, he thinks he's slipping and his arm's coming in. But when you see that last picture, Jules, it looks like he moves towards the ball, and I think a more acceptable decision would have been a penalty.
Wouldn't they look at that, Derm, just to feel like, with everything what we're seeing now, I cannot understand how they've not given that, because Mo Salah's going in to maybe get the ball on the other side of it. Martin Ødegaard, yes, he might be slipping, but he's not falling over. You know, where you can see the arm going down to the ground so the ball's hit it. It felt like the arm came towards it. I just can't understand what his thinking was to not give it.
And having seen that, you know, I'm in the camp with you and Michael. I think, you know, it's there. It's just it almost traps the ball, and I think a penalty is much more acceptable and would have been much more understandable. What you would say though, Wrighty, is that if it was given on the field, the VAR was never going to overturn it. That's the vagary of the system.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would complain about that.
No, absolutely not. Derm, I've got no real massive problem with the referee not seeing. He's probably a fair distance away and maybe not at the greatest angle. So why do you think VAR didn't intervene and say this is a clear and obvious one? Do you not think it met the threshold?
Well, as I said, Michael, I can hear them speaking, and I heard him say back to Chris Kavanagh, I heard him say, well, he slipped and his arm's coming in towards his body, he's making himself smaller. So whether he's just felt that and not seen it like we have, or whether he hasn't seen the angle like we have, but without doubt, the angle of the last four of us have seen is the most damning one, isn't it? You see his arm come in, it does come in, but without doubt it plays the ball.
I think that, for me, they've got to do away with all that, oh, he's falling and he's made himself smaller, and that's handball. And that's as simple as it should be. Don't overcomplicate it. That was a handball today.
All right, Dermot, thank you so much for giving us that insight. Great to have you with us on Matchday Live Extra. All right, that was Dermot Gallagher just helping us understand a little bit more about what happened in that decision. And I think agreeing with both of you that it should have been a penalty. That's one of the talking points. The other will certainly be Trent Alexander-Arnold and the opportunity that he had to seal the game for Liverpool.
Yeah, not often you see a breakaway when there's 5 players against 2. But that's exactly what Liverpool had in this situation. Declan Rice on his own, backpedaling, and you can see 3 players here queuing up. It ended up falling to Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it just slightly pops up. You just watch the ball bouncing slightly there. And he actually catches it quite well, Wrighty. But maybe his technique is one thing that you'd say cost him.
Only because, Mike, look, the thing is, he's coming onto it, and I think that he's obviously thinking, Jules, I just need to connect with this, it's going in. But what you notice is that as a strike, those things can happen where it just bobbles up a little bit. You've got to get over it. You've got to get over it and get over the ball so as it stays down. And I think that as it bobbled up, he was a little bit leaning back and bad, and that's why it went on the bar. But I was pleased to see it, if I'm going to be totally honest, but I was not expecting them to miss that.
I've seen Arsenal beat Liverpool at Anfield since he was a player. Let's get thoughts from the 2 men still alongside me. If people are just joining and they're just seeing this for the first time, the scoreline, how would you sum up this game for them?
I thought it was quite an exciting game. There's a lot of anticipation in it. Didn't see as many, for me, from Arsenal especially, shots on target and attacking play, but I think that's to go down to Liverpool and the way they kind of restricted us, restricted space to Ødegaard, to Saka, to Martinelli. In the end, got taken off himself. And I think that in the end, you probably have to say Arsenal were very lucky to come away with the point, because we could and should have lost the game, especially the Trent Alexander chance. He should have scored it. So we're very fortunate, and I'm happy with that.
What's your verdict, Mo?
Yeah, a really good game. I mean, for those who have only just got back, where have you been? It was such a good game. Yeah. You got to plan your day around it. No, it was a very good game. We thought it was going to be good. These 2 teams are definitely going for the title this year. Both good enough to have a good run at it. Yeah, I mean, if you're scoring the game on points, then you'd say Liverpool. But I don't think you could come away and say, oh, Arsenal, definitely deserve to lose. I think they played their part in a good game. As Wrighty said, Declan Rice was absolutely everywhere, and if you've got him in your team, you've always got a chance. They've got a good centre-half pairing as well. So they're a very difficult nut to crack, and plenty of teams have tried and failed at Anfield, and to get a point is a very good result for them.
They did actually manage, that's Liverpool, to crack that Arsenal defence. There was a big moment where they were 5, I think, versus 2, and still couldn't find a way past the woodwork, in fact. Let's talk about this.
It was an Arsenal corner, Jules, and they just got in each other's way here, and all of a sudden 2 players are out the game, and Liverpool break fast. And as you say, 5 against 2 there's 3 queuing up, and I was just waiting to see when Mo Salah was going to release the ball. Jim Beglin in commentary said the ball popped up, Wrighty. I think it probably did a little bit.
It did.
You
and
still
then
fancy him to score, though?
You know, the thing is, with his technique, I would, Mike, simply because when it popped up, I think he's just leaning back a bit there. And what you want to be doing is, you know how it is, but you want to smother that down into the goal. You see him catch it almost under that bit of the ankle bone and just between that bit where the boot is. And so he's caught it so well, and that's because the ball's popped up. and he's leaning back a little bit. That's why it's gone in the air, but you've got to get everything over that. And like I say, with the penalty that they could have had in the first half, that chance there, we've got away with one, I think.
All right, we've heard the thoughts of the men in studio here. Let's go back to Anfield for post-match reactions. First up, here's Virgil van Dijk.
Virgil, how do you feel about a point?
Disappointed. But it was a big fight. A great game to be involved in. Arsenal's a very good team, of course, and but I think we had opportunities to win the game, and fortunately we didn't. It was intense for both sides, I think, and we move on. 1 point more than we started, so that's obviously a positive.
It was intense to watch, to be fair, as well. It's a fantastic game. Do you think you had the better of those opportunities, especially in the second half?
Well, I think it's difficult to analyse it at this point, but yeah, obviously the one that we had the crossbar stands to my mind. So maybe, but anyway, I think it was always going to be a very intense game, and it showed.
A lot of respect between the two clubs as well. Do you expect Arsenal to be one of the sides that are pushing you all the way this season?
They're hoping for consistency as well, and I think they've been doing it quite well since last year, and we're doing it quite well this year, and hopefully we can keep that going, and let's see where we at in February, March, that period, and then we can really push on, hopefully.
Thank you, Virgil.
A tough game as expected, said the Liverpool captain. We want to look at the stats, though, because it was in the bottom of the screen there during that interview, and the three of us just couldn't believe how closely contested it was in all of those different numbers. The only, I think, surprise is the fact that Arsenal didn't have any shots on target after they scored, but that is so closely contested. It tells a story.
Yeah, well, our impression watching the game without knowing these stats was that it was a very close game, but Liverpool probably edged it. And when you look at those, I mean, that's exactly how it plays out, really. That very, very close game. Slight advantage to Liverpool in certain areas. Obviously, Arsenal covered a lot more, but even expected goals there, I mean, you round them up, it's 1-1. I mean, I think it was a fair enough result in the end. I don't know about you, Wright.
Yeah, well, to be honest, when you look at the one with shots on target, it's got Liverpool 3, and Arsenal 2. And when you look at the way the game was, it felt like it was more end-to-end. But like when you consider that Arsenal didn't have another shot on targets after the goal, you have to realise how much they were probably on the back foot. So again, it's one of those results where you're going to Anfield and you've got to be pleased that you've come away with a draw, especially the way this game panned out.
1-1 between Liverpool and Arsenal in an all-action clash at Anfield. Let's go back to Merseyside now, where we get post-match reactions from Liverpool boss Jurgen Klopp.
The start of the second half was exciting, explosive. Did the start to the first half frustrate you? You had the crowd, you had everything.
Not at all. By the way, thank you, Anfield. Oh, my God, eh? That's what we can do when we are all on our toes. It's crazy. Eh? No, I was not disappointed or frustrated, not at all. That's what can happen. The first ball goes for them. I think the first already a corner, stuff like this. They had these moments. They have this strength. They have the confidence. But you could see that we impressed them as well then afterwards, when we were really in the game. And the direction we had in the game, how we found the half spaces was absolutely exceptional. How we turned there, how we showed then our ability, I liked a lot. Look, it's one of these games, and I'm not sure how many chances Arsenal had and how big they were. Don't really remember a lot, but maybe they had something. But of course, we could have won the game, but it's fine, it's a point. Two strong sides, massive battle, and that's it.
It's fine, a point, two massive sides, that's it.
Yeah. I said a moment ago that I don't think either manager will be having their Christmas lunch really disappointed with the result today. Not getting beat is important against fellow rivals, and both teams played really well. So I think both will be positive about the outcome. Although I do think Pep Guardiola, wherever he is in the world at the moment, will be rubbing his hands together a little bit more than everyone else.
I do feel that the chance there when they went on that 5-2 run against us, even though Declan Rice was there, if anyone was going to stop him, it was going to be Declan. But if I'm Klopp, I'll probably look at that chance and feel like that was a massive opportunity missed, because I wouldn't expect Trent to miss that. So if you're going to nitpick in it, of course he'll take the point with the way Arsenal playing. But if you're going to nitpick, you probably think that would have been the chance to win the game.
Elsewhere in that interview, he also said about the penalty, that was weird. He doesn't see how you can't give it. Let's look at it and remind everyone your thoughts on it.
Yeah, I thought it was a penalty. I thought the hand, went towards the ball. I think Mo Salah was flicking it round and was about to run onto it. And Ødegaard, he stops it with his hand, and it looks like it's I wouldn't say intentional, but he does move his hand towards the ball and stop it. So I think that's a penalty.
You know what? What you have to say, because I don't really want to go into the ref stuff and the decisions, but if you give that, why wouldn't you give that? What reason would you say you're not going to give that? If you give that, what would Martin Ødegaard, Arsenal, say about why that shouldn't have been a pen? I can't see how that's not a penalty. I'm delighted that it's not in the end because we don't lose the game. But I cannot understand how you can look at that and not give a penalty for that. No,
I think we've been as far away on the handball rule at the moment. We've been as far away from being happy. The general game. Yeah. Whether it's managers, players, fans, authorities, even referees don't particularly like the handball rule. But the rules that are being dished out means we've obviously got to abide by what we've been given. But I just don't. I think we're in a bit of a mess at the moment with handball. I don't know really.
Yep. You look at that, Mike. So you look at Mo Salah, and of course it's my team, but look at Mo Salah. He's going past him. He's going around him. The fact that his hand stopped it in the box from him to get on the ball, maybe cross it for someone to tap in. Surely you've got to look at that side of why that's handball as well. They've actually stopped a goal-scoring opportunity, and it is a goal-scoring opportunity because it should have been a pen. I'm quite pleased they didn't give it, but I can't understand what they're thinking. Yeah, and then, of course, so you've got that on the pitch, and then we've got something that I'm sure people are aware of called VAR, VAR, that's there for a backup. And quite obviously, VAR didn't think it was clear and obvious enough to then say, hang on a minute, big mistake made. So, between the referee and VAR, they didn't think it was. I don't think it was, oh my word, it's the biggest, shocking decision I've ever seen. So I'm not, going to give VAR bashing for it. But based on what we've seen there, I do think it was a penalty.
As a boxing match, a goal apiece, and they went toe-to-toe. We'll be talking about that penalty decision for some time as well, and that chance from Trent Alexander-Arnold. It ends 1-1 at Anfield. Thank you to the two gentlemen alongside me. We'll see you next time.
And this is the scene here in Brighton. Derek Ray here on the commentary box, joined as always by former Arsenal and England fullback Lee Dixon. And we've got Premier League action coming right up. It's Brighton and Hove Albion taking on Liverpool.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. All that work in the week, all that chat in the dressing room, all that stops now. It's put your game face on, get down to it. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Well, it could be on for him here. And a goal! 1-0, and what a fast start they've made to this game.
Well, here's the replay, and as we can see, the defence can't cope with the through ball, and because he's on his own, he collects himself, and he finishes it perfectly past the keeper.
So the match has restarted, 1-0 here.
Brighton and Hove Albion. Number 18, Danny Welbeck.
Wijnaldum. Fabinho. And he did well to cut it out. Firmino. Mane. Timely intervention. Neil Maupay. Playing with purpose and control. An opportunity to ball. Error from the keeper. Will they seize on it? Options in the middle. And played towards the near post. Well, still an issue here. Fabinho. This could square the game. Good defending to prevent the chance. Chances on. And it's there for him. And now he must score. And a goal! He's doubled his total for the day in superb scoring form.
Well, here it is again. Lovely disguise on the cross. The pullback catches out the defenders, and that eventually leads to what amounts to a simple task of rounding the goalkeeper. 2v1. There's only one winner.